So first question, what happens when an animal health official comes to your farm? If you're in a control area, they will come to collect samples from your birds. For those of you who may be familiar with this, it's a simple swab in the oropharyngeal or in the mouth area, very similar to what we did when we sampled ourselves for COVID. And so it's a quick test. The people that are collecting those samples have the right media, the swabs, and the submission forms so that those samples can get to the laboratory for testing and make it just really a quick and easy process. So another question we got, are you just going to show up and kill all my birds? And the answer to that is no. Only birds that are identified with this virus must be depopulated, okay? We're doing this for two reasons. Kind of avoid the birds from suffering. I think we're all in it for that, as well as we want to make sure that we stop the spread of the virus to any other healthy flocks. I think you want to be a good neighbor, okay? And so what are the next steps in this whole process? So board or USDA field staff will give you the details, including when to expect test results. So they will submit the samples for you. They will get them to the laboratory. They'll kind of get you into the system, if you will, and then get those results back to you again. They're also going to talk to you about biosecurity, and that's really kind of your point of contact if you have any questions, down the road. What do I see if my county is highlighted on that Board of Animal Health website? And that county is shaded in because high path has been identified there. How do I find out if I am in a control area? Okay, and I'm going to repeat this a number of times, and I hope you remember this, but we have set up a hotline, and that number is up and running, and the number is 833-454-0156. And so that if you really need to know, call the hotline number, and we can let you know. We can go to our maps. We can determine whether or not you're in a control area. And certainly, some of this information we just can't put out there so that everybody can see it. So we're trying to be very careful with the information that we let out from the board as part of our response. Number two, do I need a permit to sell eggs or move birds if I'm in a control area? The answer is yes. You need to call the hotline. We've got an active permitting process for people in a control area, and this would be movement of eggs or birds into or within or out of a control area. And so it becomes a little bit complicated. And so certainly calling the hotline, and I'll say it again, to get that information is something that you need to do if you're involved with one of these activities. Another question we have received is when the control area is released, how are people notified? Well, first of all, for releasing the control area, movement restrictions are maintained for at least 14 days since the initial virus elimination activities of the last infected premise. Okay, so this gets to be kind of a complicated type of situation. There's a lot of dates, there's a lot of information that goes into cleaning up these infected premises. In addition to that, there's a lot of surveillance that has to be conducted, and all of that has to be negative in order to release a control area. And so the best advice, check the Board of Animal Health website. That's where the information is going to be for you. Another question, can I get my birds tested for HPAI if I am not in a control area? The answer is yes. Certainly, we will prioritize calls for sick birds rather than testing healthy birds, but certainly you can get birds tested if you're concerned and you're not in a control area. absolutely. We've got 2 laboratories, as I mentioned earlier, that can do this testing for you. Certainly we can do that.